Hello, everybody. My name is Adam Bergman. I'm a YouTuber, and I'm going to cover the stock Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. Palantir is my largest holding. I am super bullish, and I own a shit ton of Palantir shares. Today, I'm going to talk about a massive buy of 1 million Palantir shares by one of the brightest and most animated people in all of finance. Her name is Cathie Wood. And Cathie Wood is at the helm of ARK Invest. And ARK Invest is all about innovation, innovation, and innovation, groundbreaking technology, so on and so forth, and getting into companies that are not necessarily super profitable at the time, pre-profitability, and riding the wave. She famously did so with Tesla, and she's trying to find her next Tesla. If you look right here, you can see that she bought 744,961 shares in ARK-K. She bought 150,508 shares in ARK-F. And she bought 134,463 shares in ARK-W. Since 2 quarters earnings ago, this brings up her share count to right around 7 million, if I got that correctly. Now, this is a massive amount, and I definitely think that she's going to be over 10 million and multiple 10 millions of shares for Palantir. But it wasn't always such smooth sailing. You see, if you're an OG and a Palantir holder for quite a while, you might remember around a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit less, Cathie Wood sold out of her entire position of Palantir, which was over 30 million shares. Now, us as Palantir investors, we were kind of tight. We were kind of mad, and we didn't really understand why this was happening. How are you going to sell Palantir but invest in Teladoc and Zoom and Roku and saying that they are more groundbreaking technology and innovative than Palantir? Palantir is literally shaping the landscape of the entire world, literally right in front of our eyes. And even more so now with what's happening throughout the world. We're changing from a local product to a very much global product. When Cathie Wood and company sold out of Palantir, there was a brief explanation as to why. They said that the monopolistic advantage of Palantir working with the DoD, with the United States government, was coming to an end. And at the time, this made no sense because Palantir literally landed like a $100 million contract at the time when they made this announcement. And it was just accelerating. Government contracts, government cooperation, government partnerships was just accelerating. As a matter of fact, right now, our government cooperation, partnerships, and expansion is better than ever, especially as the government is increasing the amount of spending that they are on software. Currently, the amount of money being spent on software is practically non-existent, and Palantir pretty much cornered that market. As they expand how much money they're going to be spending, Palantir's revenue from the US government is only going to expand. I know it's not based on popular opinion. While everybody is focusing on commercial, I said that Palantir still has a long way to go with government contracts that is then going to bring in more commercial use cases and more commercial clients. To this, everybody made fun of me, but lo and behold, government contracts are growing just as good as commercial contracts are growing, plus or minus. The Palantir community wanted an explanation, and we got our explanation yesterday. Shout out to my man, I'm Investing, who posted this on this channel earlier. Yesterday, there was a podcast presentation from ARK Invest. One of the lead analysts for ARK Invest was asked, why did you leave Palantir? Why did you get back into Palantir? It's around a 4-minute clip. We're going to listen to it in just a moment. And at the end of the clip, Cathie Wood starts talking. It's a really remarkable clip because we actually understand now why they got back into Palantir. If you guys don't want to listen to the clip, very simply, they said that the government went from a sole company procurement to a single company procurement. What does this exactly mean? A sole company procurement means that there's a monopoly. There's only one company that can do what you're looking for. While a single company, it means that you can pick different companies. So at the time, they said they thought this was going to be competition for Palantir, and Palantir would lose their edge with the United States government, which now makes sense as to why they sold. Not that I agree with it or anybody in the Palantir community does, but it starts to make a little bit more sense. They explain why they got back into Palantir, and most importantly, she says that she was speaking to Shyam Sankar. She got a lot more insight when it comes to Palantir, specifically with the growth opportunities in artificial intelligence and generative AI, not to mention machine learning. She also mentioned that there are a lot of opportunities and that she spoke to a lot of people that actually use Palantir on the field day in and day out and say that there are no substitutes for Palantir Foundry software. Besides for that, we got a huge piece of news that there's going to be a podcast coming out between Shyam Sankar and Cathie Wood, and it's going to be coming out on September 28th. Lo and behold, September 28th is also the exact time that we will be getting the news about the massive NHS contract. Is this a coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. But all I know is that this is massive news. I feel pretty vindicated that Cathie got out of Palantir and now she's getting back into Palantir. Love her or hate her, she was on a downward spiral, but I kind of believe that in the next bull run, she's going to be back on track. And one of the main stocks that's going to be pushing her fund up is going to be Palantir. And again, love her or hate her, she is such an animated character in the finance community that a lot of people listen to what she and her team have to say. And I'd rather her be in Palantir than not into Palantir. And that's just my own personal opinion. There's a lot of hidden gems in this 4-minute long conversation. Please enjoy the rest of it and have a great day.
Investors may have noticed that we moved away from Palantir after hearing about the government moving away from what are called sole source contracts. When Palantir first came to market, they were really the only option for some of the modern data-based operating systems that the government was looking for. And so they won these sole source contracts that gave them kind of prime positioning and accelerated deals in the government space. For fear of relying too much on a single vendor, the government has been cautious about continuing those sole source contracts. And that caused us to have caution in the name. But we stayed in touch and continued watching. And we think some of those fears around sole source contracts are abating. In particular, we've heard anecdotes that the commanders in charge that are actually using Palantir's software products understand their value proposition and know that they're still quite differentiated. And we also like the company's direction in terms of navigating this environment where they're increasingly offering products and services for newer technology companies to build on top of Palantir and almost use Palantir as a service in serving to fulfill government contracts. So we think that de-risks the opportunity there. The second part, and this is what's most important, I think, is that we think they're really well set up to take advantage of the generative AI opportunity. And this comes from a variety of products they've been building over the years that really seem like they were laying the groundwork for deploying AI at scale within an enterprise. So Foundry is one of those, for example, which seeks to connect the disparate data stores within a company and the different systems, categorize into what's called an ontology, both the nature of that data and how it interacts across different workflows in an organization, and the ability to get a kind of bird's eye view, top-down digital twin look at an organization, its data, and its processes. And use that view to create automations that can not just analyze data and produce insights, but also take action based on those insights. And that framework happens to be exactly what you need, that scaffolding to plug something like a large language model into a workflow to allow the automation of steps that maybe couldn't have been automated before, or to increase accuracy or accelerate certain existing processes. So they've been quick to market and launching what they call AIP, their AI platform, which builds on top of this concept of an ontology to create use cases that actually have really quick time to value at some of their customers, building chatbots that are handling customer service requests just in a matter of weeks that customers are finding really great value in. So those are some of the reasons we've become more constructive on the name and why you'll see it in portfolios, including ARKK, ARKW, and ARKF. Last thing I would highlight is that we also recently recorded a podcast with Palantir's CTO, Sham Sankar, talking about all of this and their positioning in AI and thoughts for the future in much more detail. That's coming out on Thursday, September 28th. So I would definitely encourage any listener wanting to learn more about what Palantir is up to tune into that podcast.
Yeah, if I could just add in there, it was Frank and I did the podcast together, and it was excellent. It added new dimensions to my understanding of Palantir and AI generally. So highly recommend it.